point.
Arsenal still in front, 2 points ahead of Manchester City, 3 ahead now of Aston Villa on that brilliant run. James, Spurs, they're in 10th place. Liverpool in 9th, and in 16th place, Leeds United, who managed to pick up another point in what's been a really good week for Daniel Farke and for the team with that 3-3.
And then when people ask me, is it sustainable for Aston Villa? That's not, as you've just said, but that is. And when people are talking about Aston Villa for the league right now, I think that's a little bit premature. But what I would say is, these last 2 games, it was difficult to keep that run going. But you think of the champions last season, Liverpool's expected goals average for the whole game was whole season was 2.2. So if they continue that, which will be really difficult, of course, then they have got a chance for the league title.
But certainly creating big chances as well. You see that big leap to 5 against Arsenal, 6 against Brighton, and this is when we flip it to look at the perspective from Arsenal's defensive perspective, and you see the previous average shots that Arsenal have faced in a game this season. I'll go in again just to point that out. 7.2. Aston Villa at the weekend had 15 shots against Arsenal, triple the amount of shots on target faced, big chances faced. The average for Arsenal, which is miraculous anyway, 0.7. Now leaping as high as 5 in that Aston Villa game, way above the previous high that Arsenal had faced this season. And this bottom line I'll draw your attention to as well. Opposition touches in the box. Previous average for Arsenal, 14.1. The previous high, 36. Aston Villa managed 43. How did they do this, Jamie?
Well, listen, it was a fantastic... Listen, it was a brilliant game by 2 top teams. But what I want to say before we start the clip is, Arsenal supporters and the players will be devastated, disappointed, I get that. But they were without the best centre-back partnership in the league, and I think it cost them. And I'm going to look especially at the battle between Nketiah and Ollie Watkins. So when we just run this on now, and just look straight away, you can see them together, big, powerful centre-forward, there's already physical contact, right, coming together. Maybe not used to that as much when you think of, you know, the country that he's come from, playing in the Bundesliga. But look, again, really aggressive against them, really tight. Getting up to the edge of the box. Now he loses him. Now he goes and finds him again. Just keep an eye on him. But he makes one error as a centre-back. And I know that position so well myself. Look, they're together. So, right, really aggressive. What does he want to do in this position? He wants to get on the same line as the rest of his defenders and push up and not be left alone. So what he does in that position is, James, I just want you to come in. Now, if he wants to get up, you're Ollie Watkins, and I am aware that you've had an ACL injury, so you don't have to move. But if I'm fighting with my centre-forwards here, and the ball's there, and I want to get up to the edge of the box, right? I don't get up this way. Because when I get there, Ollie Watkins is that side of the ball, OK? When I push up and I'm fighting, if I'm going to get up and try and leave him offside, I've got to get up in front of him, in there. Because the ball's there, and if a cross comes in, I'm first. And if Ollie Watkins is going to make a run, he's got to come past me. I can block him, I can stop him. So we just run it on, and you see where he goes now. He runs on the outside of him. OK? So now he's in a position there with Ollie Watkins in a bad position. Also, Eze, this is the last time he looks at Matty Cash. And probably one of the reasons why he comes off, because Matty Cash had a great chance before this, and obviously we know he gets the goal. So he's a fault as well. But I think if Nketiah's in a better position, the other side of Ollie Watkins, when I think it's Pau Torres on the ball with that far side, he sees Ollie Watkins, and Ollie Watkins then makes that run. If he's the other side, maybe he can get to that ball first. Stops, comes in, great finish, and you see Eze there, head in his hands, he knows a mistake, hence why he was brought off at half-time. Again, I go back to the centre-backs. Now, we can't get the full clip in because it's so long, the distance. This is not Emi Martinez with the ball on the edge of the box. This is a goal kick, I can assure you. So look at the distance from Emi Martinez, when that ball's kicked, to where that line is here. So Nketiah is actually deeper again than the rest of the back 4. 78 yards from that 6-yard box to do that. There's no way Gabriel and Saliba would be that deep. I think they'd be 10, 15 yards higher. It may be a bit of tiredness as well, especially when you see his reaction to the second ball. So the ball comes in. It's actually Ben White who goes to head it. That's where the centre-back should be. Oxham now, he's got a cover. And when you talk about tiredness, your touch goes, look, poor touch, another poor touch under his feet, then knocks it out to play. Listen, he's a good player, we know that, but 3 games in a week as well. But the quality from Villa, the quick throwing as well, James.
Yeah, you're looking at the defensive aspect. I'm more looking at the little small moments of quality within it. Jaden's feet initially, I know it gets cleared, but even just Yori's composure there, Yori Tielemans, who again, you talk about tired players, this is at right at the depth of the game and a player who doesn't ever miss a minute for Villa. Just that little moment of quality in there. It obviously becomes a little bit scrappy when it goes into the box, but really happy for Emi Buendia as well, a lad who was at Norwich and has also had a big knee injury, so to see him put the winner away in a second was, yeah, it was good to see.
I mean, the big thing for me late in this game, there's 2 things actually. Villa getting the goal, 7 players in the box. I think, what was it, 94, 95? They got the goal, I'm not sure exactly when it was. But that's really going for it. Almost leaving themselves a little bit vulnerable behind. But this as well, the reaction from the Arsenal players. Yes, it hurts to concede a last-minute goal, but almost reminded me. Do you remember Sami Kafur in the 1999 Champions League final against Man United? Lost the Champions League final, punching the ground. Yes, it's a big blow, but it almost feels like some of the Arsenal players feel like they've lost the cup final. That almost feels like that reaction, not a Premier League game. Of course it was a huge blow, but I think for Arsenal, and I said this before the game, it was always going to be difficult here today. Don't get, on Saturday, don't get carried away. You lost the game against a very good team, who were brilliant at home as well. You lost in the last minute without your 2 centre-backs. It's not that big a deal. But the reaction there, I thought, was telling about how much they felt they'd lost there in terms of losing that point.
Arsenal still in front, 2 points ahead of Manchester City, 3 ahead now of Aston Villa on that brilliant run. James, Spurs, they're in 10th place. Liverpool in 9th, and in 16th place, Leeds United, who managed to pick up another point in what's been a really good week for Daniel Farke and for the team with that 3-3 draw against Liverpool.